Hi, welcome to Barvotti's 54th live screening of Tools for Creatives. I am Phoebe Bradbury, and today I will be demonstrating some of the tools that I use every day in my studio, in my art studio. I wouldn't want to be without them, and I find new uses for them all the time. There will be promotional offers during the program, and the promo codes will be active during the demonstration and for about half an hour after. The current time is 12 noon Central, February the 28th, 2022. Right now, the promotions are only available on amzn.to. If you were with us here on Friday, you probably would have noticed that I made 2 attempts to do a poured painting, and I just wanted to show you that my attempts have not always been that bad. This was a poured painting. Can you see me? I can see myself, yes. Okay, this was a poured painting, or part of one, that I did 2 years ago. So it is, we will get there. And I've gone back and reviewed the rules for doing it. And so we're going to make another attempt today, which I hope will be a lot better. Okay. Okay, this is the painting that you saw when the show first opened. I'm just going to show a couple of things that we've done on the show. This was very early on, so it was probably maybe our 3rd or 4th show. It is made with almost entirely, I believe it's is it the 2.5? No. Which one is it? The 2-inch. Yes, the 2-inch mottler, just to show you that all of these marks were made by this one particular mottler. And that's that one. What was I going to, I had another one right here. I prepared for this. Okay. So have you seen what I did with that other sheet of paper? No.
It's gray.
The paint's gray one, yeah.
You put it up on top of it.
Oh, I just put it up on top. Here?
It's shot up on the-
Oh, I turned it around and turned it over so I couldn't see it. Oops, that's another one we're going to look at. And the reason I'm showing you this, I think this goes this way, yes. These are both done on butcher paper, or I've been corrected, and apparently it's freezer paper. It's plastic on one side, which is the side that I'm working on, and it is what makes it opaque is the white paper on the other side, and it's perfect for working with these. The only problem, of course, is it's not archival. And this is just the reason I like this is an example of just playing around with one color, and I think in this case maybe 2 mottlers. I can look at it and I can see the history. I use that mottler there, and I have another fancy one. I'm pretty sure this is the one I used because it's exactly the right size. And so this is a mottler that I have changed, obviously. It doesn't have that beautiful, sharp, firm edge. So just to show you that a variety of marks can be made from this, and I don't want you for 1 minute to think that you need to do this to your tools, but I like to make parallel lines, and that's the fastest and quickest way to do that. And by the way, I'm an abstract painter, so there might be some realistic stuff in here, but not very much. And that doesn't mean I can't do realistic, and we will get into that later, but I'm going to be showing you a few abstract things here. This is something else that I've done on here, and this is a small painting done on Yupo paper. Let's just see if I can zoom it in. And the reason I'm zooming it in is to show you that using those tools, you can get very good, very fine, what do you call it? Resolution, thank you. Yeah. I'm thinking on about one thing and doing another. So you can get a very fine resolution in these. And this was done very early on. And, okay, this is another one, slightly different. And this is on a 4x6 card. So it could be used as a mail art. People don't mail things anymore. But a postcard art that you could send in the mail. If you wanted to do that, the Yupo paper will stand up to that. And this one was made with, I believe, oops, which size? This size? Yeah, that size of tool in one case. It could have been used, the background under stuff was not, I didn't use one of these, but I used the corner of this to make all these sort of spaghetti marks behind there. So it's really a lot of fun to work with, and I'm hoping that we will have time to do that today. I want to show you the picture of one of the artists around here. This is her picture of her cat. Her name is Marina, and we live in the Yucatan, on the north coast of the Yucatan in Mexico, and Marina is our next door neighbor. Just going to bring this in a little bit because you'll have a better. And this is have you got the picture, Marina? Oh, I'll show this one. Or maybe you could, have you got a better one?
I'll get it.
Okay. And this is Marina with her very first picture that she did for me, or with some of my stuff. And she lives right next door. You're actually looking from our balcony into her yard next door there. And she's 6 years old, and she likes to draw and paint. So it's wonderful to have somebody nearby who shares my interests. And she also shares my interest in cats. And when she got her kitten, she painted this beautiful little kitten. And I think I've talked about it before many times on here, but for those who are new, this is to me, when I see somebody's art like this, I think this is about her life and what's important to her. And it's very clear that Marina understands her kitten. She understands how cuddly it is and how much fun it is. I'm not sure if it's smiling or sticking out its tongue, but I can see the whiskers, the little black eyes, and the cuddliness of it, and the gray stripes, and it's a little tabby cat. So she's done a wonderful job of making that kitten very real for me. So this is the way I look at art, just in case you're wondering. And I'm hoping that we will have a children's portion of the show where we can do a little bit of demo, and then maybe suggest using tools, and then maybe sharing the results with us online. That would be wonderful, but that's in the future. And surely, I know I can depend on, Marina has told me that she will help me. So that's something that's exciting to look forward to. Now, I'm just going to go quickly. These are some of the Yupo paintings that we've done. Oops. Very abstract. These are on approximately paper, I should say American paper, A4, no, is it A4? Or just the American paper size, letter size, because I bought a case of it about 6 years ago, and so I've had this Yupo paper available to me, so it's been quite a lot of fun on the show to be able to use it, because it's perfect for this. It is archival, and on this one, I think I can't take it out of here right now because it's a little bit too complex. But this one, I think I can show that it has a metallic sheen. These are probably going to be going on sale, or be available on, not on sale, be available on Abstract Art in Canada at some time in the future. So these are sort of my type of things, but not the only things that we do. This is, the name of this one is called Flamingo Land, and it was done with the tools very similar to this one here. In fact, this one gave me the idea to do that one. So some of the things that we're going to be doing is about like how you start out with an idea. Okay, Flamingo Land in the daytime, Flamingo Land at night. How you start out with one idea and you carry it through to others. And that can be shown in, like, let's see, where is it? There she goes looking for her various pieces. And that can be shown in these ones. This is a finished piece of black on gold. And this one uses this tool here. And these are the tools these are the Barvotti tools. This one doesn't have a name on it. The Barvotti tools that we use for all of these products, or some of them. We're going to be showing you more of them later. But this is an advanced version of that. And we just found a paper that showed it, and then we worked through it together online. And I will be doing that again. So there it is. This is the picture that I saw online. I thought we can do that, and then we worked a little bit and went through many iterations, and finally got one that is pretty close, and that I'm completely satisfied with, by the way. We've done it with a blue background, and silver, different kinds of paint. That's a stainless steel. And just to show how versatile these tools are. Okay. I'm going to put these away without messing everything up. So the other thing, of course, that I mentioned earlier is that we have been doing some poured paintings. Here's another example of a poured painting done before. Not during the show, but it's what we are attempting to do. Just to show you that the beauty of poured paintings is that you can work into them after they're somewhat set, and you have extremely high resolution. So a poured painting like this can be printed many times larger without losing resolution. I'm just going to show you one poured painting that's a little bit like that. So this looks really big. I'm going to take it out if I can get out to the edge of it. There it is. I think it's 12 by 12. I'm not sure. Oh, I've got a ruler right here. It is. It's 12 by 12 inches. So it's one of the larger ones that I've done. And the reason I do them so small, 8 by 8 inches, is because it's then very easy for me to scan them and digitize them and then make them into large paintings. So the painting that you saw behind me at the beginning of the show was one small corner. It was this corner down here. I think it was turned on its side, but it was that corner of that painting was made into that very large painting behind me. So do you want to show that, Previn?
Yeah,
They can at least see the yellow.
yeah.
Am I here?
Yeah.
Not quite sure if I'm in the. So this is just the corner of that painting. And what I've done is I looked at the painting, and then I've decided what would make. How can I compose a smaller painting out of this piece? And that is what I've done. I haven't changed anything. Once it was dry, but I will say that when the pour was done and it was fluid, there were no swirls or anything like that. These are the things that I worked into on those. And so there's a lot of things that you can do to a poured painting to turn it from sort of basically looking like a very attractive mud puddle to looking like something that might be a piece of art. And that's sort of where I am with playing with poured paintings. I haven't done it recently. except I did make an attempt on Friday to show people how to do it, and both attempts failed. But I'm all set to go through and do it again later. Today we'll try and do it at least one attempt today. First of all, I am going to go over the tools and just show you briefly what they can do with some paint on here. So I usually like to get into painting pretty quickly, and what I find is one of the best colors for demoing is this Payne's Gray, because it's so nice and black. And so I'm just going to talk about the quality. I can't use these ones. See, I've got my good ones that I use to show you how beautiful they are, because they are beautiful. But I have the other ones that I actually work with during the show. So this is this is one of the beautiful ones. And this is the 3-inch, and that's the blade. It's a medium firm blade, very strong, very sharp edge. Can you see it on there? Yeah, okay. A medium firm blade. It's got a nice for real compressed synthetic handle. It doesn't warp or absorb water or stain terribly. This one's got a little bit of a stain on it. And it has this hole at the end, which means that in a very busy studio like mine, I can hang it up and get it out of the way and off my work surface. And I can hang it up if it's got paint on it or not. So that's kind of an important feature for me for big tools like this, because if I had to lay it down anywhere, first of all, I'd have to find a place to prop it, and it could become very complicated. So I'm sure you understand that. The other things that we have that I'm just going to show you briefly here, these are a set, and this happens to be the 10 millimeter or 1 centimeter set, and you tell that by the end of this one here. Let's see if I can just go in a little bit. Okay. Let's zoom right. So this one here is 10 millimeters across or 1 centimeter, and this is the flat wedge.
Chisel.
Flat chisel, thank you. And so that gives you the size, and we have this in the 10, the 7, and the 3. Is that what we have now?
4.
And the 4 millimeter. Okay. And this is the angle chisel, and I love this one. I usually paint very large, so some of these are very small for me. This is a taper point, the cup chisel, which is firm and can be used to move a fair amount of paint, quite thick paint, and this is the round chisel. So these are tools that the handles are wood, but I haven't seen them splitting or anything. I do look after my tools and clean them regularly, and don't leave them sitting in water. So that's I may be using these occasionally. That's the 1 centimeter size, 10 millimeters, and this is the 7 millimeters. So when you look at these, oops, let's go over to where they are. This one, that's the flat chisel. That is 7 centimeters, or 7 millimeters. Sorry, centimeters. 7 millimeters across. And the round chisel, the cup chisel, the angle chisel, and the taper point in those ones. Very useful for carving and many other things. And just to show you the little tiny ones, these are the smallest of the small. I'm not sure I have the 4 mil. Do I have them here? Yeah, I do have the 4 millimeter ones here. So these are the 3 millimeters, and I'm quite sure there's more than a millimeter difference between these ones and these ones, which they're still in the package. They're but when I measured them, I'm not very good at telling the difference between 4 millimeters and 3 millimeters. So these may be a 5, and these, I think they are 3 millimeters. I measured and measured and measured them. So, so these are the 3 millimeters, very tiny, can be used for all kinds of things, very precise marks on little paintings and stuff like that. And that is the 4 millimeter. Okay, so let's get back to this. So I'm going to now bring out the ones that I'm allowed to get covered with paint. So it's growing, because as the other ones get dirty, they become part of this set. So this is the 2.5 inch, just to show you. I can use it to spread paint. Am I in the right spot? Oh good, I am. And I can use it to scrape, a 2.5 inch scrape. I can also cover it up again. And oh, I like using this dark color. It's so nice. This is Payne's Gray, so it means that it tends to look black in a painting if you're looking at the mass tone, and the mass tone is just the color of it as it comes out of the tube. But the undertones, you can see here, are sort of like a dark navy blue. I can't think of there are other names for that color. So that gives you an idea of sort of the very flat marks you can make with this. But you saw the paintings and you realize that there can be maybe round marks, strokes, see, and these are not 2.5, so these can be used for making all different kinds of marks. And all of them work this way. They're just one's a little bit smaller or bigger than the other. And they're extremely easy to clean. They should not be used, if you use solvents for them, like with cold wax painting or even oils. If you're using solvents, you should always rinse them off as soon as you can in water, because solvents will soften them. But in general, see this messy brush here? Maybe I want to use a bright orange next and I want to use the same tool. Well, I just take a damp cloth, not too wet, just damp. And I reuse these cloths, and they go through my wash every few days. But so you can see it's ready to go. I could put bright yellow on that, and there would be no contamination. That's not true of brushes if you're using them to make do different things. So what are we going to do with this? Let's play with it. So one of the marks I made there was these round squirrely marks, or swirly marks. They're not squirrely marks, they're swirly marks. And then I put marks through them, like that. I don't know where I put that now. Oh, this is similar to it. So this is a very similar type, similar size. And you can see how quick that was and how much fun it was. And you can also go back and scrape it through it again. And so you can lay down paint. It doesn't matter what size you're using. The smaller the size, you get smaller marks, of course, but you can, some of them, depending on how you hold the brush, it doesn't matter which one it is. So, and I really enjoy just fooling around like this. And I found that doing this program, it has pretty much captivated me for a lot of these shows, because I just start doing it. It's so much fun. And now I'm getting very, very good at it, at least much better than I was at the beginning. So, finished using it, clean it off. Okay. Do you want to show something? Let's see.
How used?
How they're used, yeah. That's great. Okay, now before we get on to, I'm going to do a Yupo painting, and then I'm going to try and do a pour today. I'm just going to show, oh, this isn't one of mine. Okay, I just want to show it to you. So I have taken one of an old one that I had. It's actually quite brittle. The handle is broken and stuff like that. And I've made this very straight design, like maybe the top. If you're thinking about a castle or a fortress, that would be the way it would look. And notice that the innies are the same size as the outies. Okay, so that's that one. And then I remember showing this to somebody I think on Friday, and I may not explain it too well sometimes. So this is a similar thing, but in this case, the lines along here, the part that scrapes to the bottom, are smaller than the parts that leave the paint on. So it gives it a different thing. So I'm just going to show you this one. I hope it goes through now. Yeah. So that's that one. Okay, and this one will be, we'll put it here like that. So it's almost like Venetian blinds or something. It's so even. This is more fun. And you don't have to use them that way. You can use them this way, which is a lot of fun. And that's quite a exciting mark you can make with just a very small basic tool. This tool is not going to last much longer. The silicone is quite brittle. And I chose to carve it because it was not one of my favorite ones. But I do like the regularity of it, and I could easily replace it with one of our Barvotti tools. So here's another. So that's a fairly regular one. I specifically, it's not as big as that other one. And then there's this one. Here, let's just smear it out a little bit so we can see it. Where will I do that? Here. So, nice wide marks. Clean it off. This one I didn't clean off. And of all of the ones I should clean off immediately, it's this one because it's got all these little crevices and stuff. But it does clean up within minutes quite nicely. I'm going to do a very quick, just because there's something about putting this square here like this that tells me I must weave a basket through it. I don't have to. I don't even plan what the show is ahead of time, but when I get here, I say, well, I got to do that basket. So let's just do some parallel lines here. 1, 2, 3, and maybe a little bit one over there, 4. And then, so now I'm going to weave the other direction. And this time I'm going to do a little differently. I'm going to go like this. I'm going to go under, over, under, over. Okay. Now the next one I'm going to go over, under. The only thing I'm doing differently about it this time, oops, is that I'm using my parallel line maker, one of them. And we go here, here. When I stop and think, that's when it's hardest. Okay, I'm just going to show you the last one using this one, which is a plain one. So in this one, I'm going to go over, under, over, under. So you can see I've got sort of like a basket weave there. This one looks maybe did destroy the idea of it there, but so you can make, by repeating patterns, you can make some very interesting things. That's the point of me showing you that. I wonder if we should, I do like doing it with the dark blue because it's got such an interesting difference between the darks and the lights. It's almost like using carbon or something like that. What do you think? Did you want to do something maybe Have you got Sandy Welch around? No?
Yes.
Can you show her?
Mhm.
Okay, I'd like to introduce you to Sandy Welsh, and she'll be painting with this. I can go to the main thing if you want, it doesn't matter. Okay. I'd like to introduce Sandy Welsh, an online artist on Instagram. And this is not a new video, but we really liked it. She will be painting with a 1-inch modeler, and then she will do some scratching through with a 3-inch modeler. And I recommend that you look her up online because her paintings are beautiful. Thank you, Sandy Welsh.
Let's see. I'm going to go back to my little rubber spatula here. She had that big ball of dark. And then we'll go over it again with a lighter blue, but this will be underneath. So are we getting to look like this ocean? See? This is really cool. Where do you get them? Oh, I ordered them from Amazon. They look like, where's my big one? I think they're called shapers. I got 2 of them. I got the bigger one. They're not expensive either. I got this one. I think if you just put in paint shapers, this will come up. They're nice, and you can use the tips if you want to sort of scratch out. Yeah, they had a couple different sizes, but I like them. It's the first time I've started using them.
Okay.
Okay, I'm back. Can I come back here?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've decided that we're going to do a try the pour again, and one of the reasons why the pours haven't worked is I didn't actually review correctly. I didn't review the correct way to prepare for a pour, so I quickly realized as soon as I was looking at my notes that one of the things I was doing wrong was that I wasn't preparing my paints properly, and they do have to be pourable. If you're using acrylic, and I've only ever used acrylic, if you're using acrylic, you have to add water to make them more fluid, and you have to be careful that you don't add too much water, and you should add medium so that will make the paint stick together. So just as an example, oops, my little spoon disappeared. This is the deepest one I have. Can you see that? Mm-hmm. Okay. So what you want is a mixture that is about like a thin pancake, like what do you call those thin pancakes, Preben?
Batter?
No, not the batter.
Syrup?
Well, think about syrup, but I'm thinking about the thin pancakes, the French pancakes.
Oh, the crepes.
Crepes, okay, crepe batter. So you want it to be able to just pour off, this might be a little thin because it doesn't sort of stick together, but the last time it was so thick it wouldn't have even poured off. So definitely has to be pour enough because we are going to pour these on a board. Now that's the white, and for the way I've been doing it, I'm sort of doing it the way I first learned it, and that was to pour the other paints into the white and then pour that on the canvas. So we're going to try and do one successfully today. So just to show you, the gold is pouring. Oh, I know. And there's one here. Does the white show up very well? I think Preben said the yellow showed up really well. We did try a little bit of this. So that gives you an idea. It shouldn't be as thin as water, but it should definitely pour for 4 or 5 inches. So that's what we're going to use today, and I'm just going to move over to the other camera and we will start. Cross my fingers. Okay. Let's see, this is sitting here. I just want to make sure that it's okay. Can I see it? Oh, I'm way too close, aren't I? Okay. That's what I want. It's handy that I have two.
Check the focus.
Yeah, I just moved it, that's why. Okay, check the focus. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay, so these are all my nice little painting cups, all cleaned up. I think I'm going to make that white one just a bit thicker by adding some extra varnish to it. So what I've been using to soften these are a very thin glossy varnish. Not supposed to be using the names on here, but anyway. And this one is a little thicker, so it's more like a cream. So I'm going to mix this with the thicker one for a little bit, because when I was pouring that, I didn't think it was quite thick enough. So here we go. I'm just going to, and this looks like white paint too, but it's really just a little thicker, clear. It'll dry, this one will dry clear. It's a little thicker one. The last thing I really want is bubbles, and I've got all those lovely bubbles, so let's see. I'm going to pour this in there. So that the white paint as a background is not really necessary. That is a lot thicker. Yeah, don't really want the bubbles, but oh, I know. I did find my the oil, the treadmill oil. I haven't put it in these, but we will try it again with the treadmill oil at some point. Now I'm probably going to pour a little more paint, because one of the things I noticed last time is we didn't have enough to cover the board. So we're definitely going to cover the board. And I'm not going to use all these colors, but I do want to use some gold for sure. So last time, you might not have noticed, but the gold was rather thick. And this time, it's going to go right down into the cup. And I also said last time that this was a chemical thing. It's not. It's not chemical. It's about differences in specific gravity if you're a chemist, but it's about differences in the weight per amount, or differences in density of the paint, I guess is probably the easiest way of saying it. And it's that determines how the paints mix on the canvas. So you don't, one of the reasons you do it by eye, and really, other than that it's much easier than doing it any other way, is you don't really want them all to be the same, or they'd all mix together. So the densities are different, so the paints don't mix, but they flow beside each other's in certain ways. So that's a magenta, and I'm using very good quality colors here, but and we do have enough to do a couple. If this one doesn't work out, or if it works out, we have enough to do maybe one or two more. So this is a phthalo blue. The only thing I think we're missing is red. I don't know whether I want to put it. The thing is, when it pours out, you can see what you want and spread it more. And we also have the opportunity to dip a little bit in there. So, oops, don't shake it. See if it actually, does any of it ever get to the bottom? See, if it doesn't get to the bottom, then it ends up with white on the top. So I'm just going to put some of this in. And I have these little white spoons I bought. Oh, they're so cute, but they work quite well. They're a little bit better than popsicle sticks. So I'm going to push that down. Just see what happens. Try to keep everything within the tray. So just like before, we're going to take it, our lovely mixture. We have quite a lot in there, more than before. We're prepared to do this again if it's not quite right. So there it is. Ooh. So I just moved it over a bit so it'll be more in the middle. And that's not necessary. A lot of what I'm doing, if you're going to do this, don't think that it has to be done that way. Oh, so that looks a little better. For one thing, it's flowing. I think there's too much white, but we can change that. So let's let it just sort of sit there. Oops, it's starting to go down the side. So once it starts to go down the side, it's not game over. It's just, that's what's supposed to happen because there's way too much paint on there. And I'm glad we thickened it. Because then it'll slow it down a bit. So now we're starting to get some very interesting things right in the middle. That looks like a big green orange, very tiny green orange. Let's just see if we can go in and have a look at some of these things that are developing. So when we first started, we had very little color in the center. And now we have this beautiful turquoise. I'm glad I added that at the last minute. And okay, let's see. How am I going to get in there? Zoom, zoom, zoom. So we're going to zoom right in there. Oh yeah, so you can see those things starting to form right there. Right here. And it would be nice to keep those from, falling off the edge because it's too easy for them. So we're just going to slowly tilt it. And in general, the slower it goes, unless it happens really quickly and naturally, you don't really want to jerk it around because then that'll give you jerky marks. But and I'm gonna try and get some of this white off here and stretch that beautiful blue out. And I'm going to slowly turn it. I should come out a little bit so you guys can see what I'm doing. I got paint on my finger. Okay, let's get this over a bit. There. So you see I'm trying to manipulate this slowly. And I'm realizing that it's going to be hard to get this to go over here because the thing is quite dry over there. So I'm going to put some paint in. This is just paint from the bottom of the same cup. And I can and the other thing you can do is you can scoop up the paint that's fallen on the bottom and put it over here too. And then that'll encourage this other stuff to move over in a manner that's can be quite interesting. So when the paint goes over the side, you probably will lose about half your paint. If I got that in the right spot. If not more. I'd like to see this part expand here. This is probably the best one I've done so far since we started on the program. I'm not saying it's what I like about it is the colors are so great. Oops. I could go faster, but as I was saying, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to look better. So, small tilts. I usually use it, put it on a Lazy Susan, covered with one I use just for that, of course, but so I'm getting to the point. I don't know how there- what was I going to say? I don't know what's going to happen. I don't think we're going to lose the best part. I think we're going to have it. I don't know what I want to complete that sentence is, I don't know at what point I can start to draw into this to make it more interesting. It's getting close to that. And I'm just going to scrape off some of the stuff going down the sides. And you basically use the stuff on the top to paint the sides of these little 8 by 8 inch blocks. So it's starting to look like it's not moving. And that's, at this point, that's good because then when I put my movements in there, they're not going to continue moving. And what happened last time, or not the time that it wasn't very successful, and I haven't kept, just to show you, I should have kept maybe, is that I did make, I'm just dripping little balls of things in there to see what they're going to look like. When you put the lines in, they don't stay straight. So when you start putting marks in, you basically want them to stay very straight, or the way you put them in. Otherwise, they lose their energy and they look, I don't know how to explain it. It just loses its energy and power. Because if you want to put the lines in, you want to put them in a very definite, strong way. But we're just about ready to start. And I like to use, what do I like to use? I like to use these tools. I have some that are clean, that are smaller. Here. So this blue, I think, is very beautiful. It's too bad that it's way over there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just take it and ring it around there. So I've got some kind of creature there that looks like that. So that's a little bit more to that side than I would like it to be, but I don't really want much more flowing anyway. So what else can I do with this? So let's see. I think these things are quite pretty. These little, I don't know what they are. Let's see if we can do something with them. So if you have a color there and you pull it through, you see I had a little color there. I'm actually going, it'll go into that other area and stay there. And so if I do it that way, that'll come that way. So this isn't the way I would necessarily, when I do this, it's fairly meditative, and I'm not trying to demonstrate to somebody. I just got paint all over my lip. Can you see my face? Okay. So this is more like the way a poured painting should work, according to me. And I think you will find many other opinions online. See, I like sort of opening, spreading, that sort of thing. And I think I wouldn't mind a little bit of one of these things over here. So these are just little drops of paint that have fallen off the edge that have a few different colors in them. What do you think, Preben? Done? Show that it sit. We can do another one if we've got one. We've got time to maybe squish another one in. I actually like that. Of course, there's not much I don't like. So Well, I think I will leave it because otherwise, I think the technique worked. We can work a little bit on it, maybe do a better one next on Wednesday. I will work on the solutions. Maybe this original white solution wasn't quite thick enough or quite, I noticed it spread really well. So I may do a few. I like to do I don't actually feel like testing it before I come to the come to the show. I think that the show is a place to test it, and then you can see what happens when things go wrong, and you can see what happens when things go right. And I think today things went more right than wrong. I would very much like to have had that blue blob move over across there, but when it's running off the side, the most you can do to prevent it from going there is to tilt the board. So it's a little like playing a game, and you don't really know what the rules are going to be until you've poured it in. But you have a chance the next time to see if you can change it a little bit. I see one thing I'd like to change. As I'm looking at it, I just thought I'd make this little thing here, and maybe this little thing here. See. And what I like about the marks I've made is they're staying fairly static. They're maybe just gently moving, but they're not moving terribly much. And if I look at these, well, we could do that right now. We could just go in. Let's go in and have a little look. Another zoom. Ooh, paint on my camera. That's focus. I don't want that. I want zoom. Okay, now let's focus. Come on, focus. Yeah, see. So that that shows you that's a lot of definition in there. I'll turn it around a little bit and you can see that there's those little funny things there. I think they're just about as big as we can get them right now. Yeah, oh no, there they are. And focus, focus. Oh boy, what a relief after that astounding failure last time with, there, that's bringing the colors in and bringing the focus in. And let's go out and look at it from a distance now. Zoom out. Oops. Let's see. Oops. Let's put it over here, closer to where we want to be. I'm going to zoom in a bit. Oop. I like to have it just sort of fitting there, so when I do a video. Okay, so this is now upside down compared to the way it was before. And it actually, because there's a left and right to a picture and an up and a down, it's a different composition. Let's just see if we like the other one better. There's this composition. That's actually very interesting. Could be something growing off the seafloor. And then that's the one we made. Okay. I'll move this. And we haven't really looked at this one where, ooh, it could be some giant sea creature capturing something on the bottom. It doesn't have to be in the sea, but the colors make me think about the sea. So I'm going to put it back to where it was. And that's just arbitrary. That happened because of the way things flowed. So it's, that's the choice you have when you put these marks in, is you decide if you have a feeling about it and how you want things to work, then you can do that. Now notice here, see these lines are sort of wiggling, but at least they're not shuddering back and forth. And let me look at it I'm looking at it. I think I'm going to do something here, just a little bit. So we don't think that it's a dead spot. And maybe something here. Okay, that's it for the day. I think that's it. Would you like to, did we do video mediums, Previn, or?
No.
Okay, would you like to show, or
Yeah.
Yeah. show one of those? Yeah, that's great.
And you're back.
Okay. And I'm back. So this is it for the day. Thank you for joining us today. You can find us here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon Central to do a demonstration and answer your questions, maybe do something that you suggest or are interested in. I'm really happy that our pour is acceptable today. Well, it's acceptable to me, but and we will do another one and improve it on Wednesday, I hope. I'm looking forward to seeing you on Wednesday.